How much do you agonize like over your work?
But I mean, it's full time. That's all you think about.
All consuming.
Yeah, and I think magicians are very similar. I think most magicians that I'm friends with, they know nothing but magic. I mean, they study, they read, they love art, because that's all cinema, but that's all part of magic, I think. But like, if you ask them about, you know, who won the NBA playoffs, very few, almost none of my magician friends can answer that. I think most magicians, including myself, become all consumed in magic.
What about practicing cards? Because
Non-stop. This is one of the first times, I mean, I'm sitting here for this long without cards, but the only reason why is because I just watched something of myself and I was playing with cards the whole time, and it was really annoying because the sound kept going. So I said, okay, I'm not going to play with cards when I'm doing interviews.
You'll sometimes do it 8 hours a day?
All day, yeah, all the time. Yeah, they just feel amazing. You know, and I love the way cards, I love the moves, the technical part of it, the digital fixation. It's just, yeah, it's just the whole thing.
Can you go an entire day without touching cards?
Oh, very difficult. I think it's also meditative on many levels.
How so?
Just the way, if you see a magician playing with cards and you see other magicians and one guy's like, suddenly you'll see every magician have to pull their cards out, because it just feels, even just talking about them, like inching, you know, to grab the deck. But the point is yeah, it's something that just, you know, it's just the fluidity. Yeah, it just feels incredible.
In what ways was Houdini your role model?
That was kind of my education. So I would study books on Houdini, look at images of him, and I think it started to make me dream up what was possible and what could be done, and think about magic in a different way, about real versus tricks and stuff like that.
Take me through your process for developing an idea.
So I start with something. I start with a simple idea, or I see an image, and then I'm like, wait, that would be interesting, but it's not magical. But if you took that idea and stripped away this part of it, because Houdini wrote that Mac Norton, who was the guy that was a human aquarium that could store frogs and fish and stuff, it was 100 years ago in his book Miracle Man. I say, wait, so if Houdini's writing about this guy doing it with him on tour, Houdini definitely wasn't fooled. So Houdini really believed that this guy was able to store frogs and fish in his stomach in an aquarium, which is all the water and frogs he would drink in front of the audience. And then he'd bring up all the water and all the frogs and the fish. But if you take that away and you get rid of the messiness of it, and you can just do that where you have nothing and suddenly there's a frog, that's magical. And the sword was kind of the beginning of the process. So I'm only down to here.
Yeah.
And I basically have to get it down.
It's gonna go to about that.
So you see I had this thing made and the frogs are on it.
Uh-huh.
Right? And then, so in order to get rid of the whole drink the water, bring up the water, I had to figure out how to go in and out of the esophagus so I could bring the frog up without the water. Mm-hmm. So it became, in my mind, if I could do this sword, then I can figure out how to control my stomach and my esophagus and be able to bring a frog up. So you want to see the process?
Yeah, sure.
All right, yeah, I have to kind of lick it. You want to stand up? You can pull it out.
Jesus.
So I had to learn how to do that.
Oh. Woo. How are you feeling right now, just after having done that? Like
yeah,
what?
Fine.
Really?
Yeah. I learned that specifically to do that one trick with the frog. But then that led to another trick, which was I started thinking, what if I could swallow somebody's ring and then pull it out with a hanger? So then I had to learn how to put a hanger, down my throat, and then I had to develop that trick. So the process is, one thing from an old image of a poster, and then Houdini's book where he writes, this is how the trick, he must have really been doing it. Then it leads to, can I do it? Then it leads to, maybe I should learn how to control the esophagus, so it leads to sword's palm, which leads to me learning how to do that trick with the frog, which then leads to another idea, which is, oh wait, what if I ate somebody's ring, put a hanger in and pulled it out? During early YouTube days when all the tricks were kind of being exposed, I started thinking it would be really interesting to figure out how to do things that are real and combine that with magic, so that way the reality of it makes it just as interesting when the method is revealed as the trick that you're seeing.
And was that realization, did that kind of change everything for you?
No, because I was always doing that stuff, so I always liked the real stuff, even as a kid. That was the magic I was drawn to. So, all the guys on Coney Island that were doing the crazy stuff. So yeah, I think I always, you know what it was? I think I always liked things that were believable. And I think that's from growing up with, a deck of cards, not like a magic kit, because my mother could never buy a magic kit. So giving me a deck of cards that her mother gave to her that had tarot images on it, that led me down the path of learning that you can do amazing things with a deck of cards and simple magic.